things our clients have said. I don't want to think about money. So today we'll talk about what does DJ Khaled actually think about this? Is this something that successful individuals and successful companies do? And we'll discuss why is it that you don't want to think about money. So stay tuned. I don't want to have to think about money. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I understand. I don't want to have to think about it. If I want something, I want to be able to buy it. Like, I don't want the stress of managing things. I just want to live. And I don't think that's possible right now. I don't think that not thinking about money is possible for most people. What I really liked recently, there was an interview with DJ Khaled and Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp asked him about his money management, what he does. And he said, I do not believe in accountants or managers or other people paying my bills for me. He said, I pay everybody. I pay the grass cut person, my mom's stuff, my wife's stuff, the kids. I pay for everything. I want to see it, right? And he said, because when I see it, I feel it. I feel that balance coming down. I feel what it's like. And it motivates me to book gigs and bring the balances back up. And at his level, multi-million-dollar level, right? I don't know his personal finances, but highly successful person. He is tracking his balances and his spending. He has a handle on what his month-to-month, year-to-year looks like for him, for his business, and for all of his extended family, because it helps him to make really smart financial decisions around earning. It helps him to make good decisions around investing. And I think that is what wealth builders do. And so, although I understand the desire to not have to think about it, it is impossible to not think about something and be successful at something at the same time. And so if you want to be successful at money, wealth building, if you want to be successful at making good financial decisions, you have to think about it. You have to prepare for it, and you have to care and track it. And I think DJ Khaled was a really good example of what people who do well with money, what their habits look like. What do you think?
One thing that I always think through is when I left banking before I transitioned out, I was working to get an analyst role, a financial analyst role. And I went down and visited a handful of times and saw all the people that they had and how they tracked the bank's balances and payments and all the financial aspects of the bank down to $100, right? And I don't remember exactly what it was, but if there was somebody responsible for a certain department of the bank and there was an expense or something that came out and it was over budget, then they had to explain why. And it dawned on me how many people and how much they pay these people and how much the bank spends to track their money, and that does not usually correlate to personal finances, where corporations and successful people, financially, individuals, are hyper focused on how much they have and where they're spending and how it's going. But then there's a lot of people that are wanting to do it without having to think about it. And I don't think that works. But then thinking through that, and you usually pose the question, why is it that you don't want to think about money? And so when you ask that question, like what are some of your thoughts that's leading you to ask that?
I find that people don't want to think about money because money is stressful to them. And usually money is stressful to them because of their past history with money, whether that's their own early adulthood mishaps. You know, we got folks that come from all different socioeconomic parts of the spectrum, but, you know, folks, bill collectors and past due and repossessions and bankruptcies and foreclosures, right? Money has been a root of stress for them. Growing up, there's a lot of people who are saying, you know, we did not have, we miss meals, we miss our electric was shut off. So I want to get to a point where I don't have to think about it, because when I think about it, I'm triggered. And I'm not a psychologist, but there are some parts of that that are unreasonable around wanting to do money well, but wanting to avoid it. We talk about money scripts. One of the primary money scripts is money avoidance. And I don't want to think about it. I don't want to check it. I don't want to track it because it's intimidating. Or I've made budgets before where my income did not match my expenses and I didn't know what to do, and I don't want to be there anymore. So I understand. I have a lot of empathy. I've been there before as well. But ignoring it doesn't help it, right? And so, you know, we want to understand why, and then we want to really share what are the habits of financially successful people. I think the millionaire next door, and it's their spending, how much time they spend a week or month learning about financial concepts, the amount of meetings that they have with their family to track and make sure things are going well. And it's at a very high level, because people who do money well take this seriously. And that starts with their learnings, and it starts with the time that they spend tracking expenses and projecting out the next month, next year, next few years. So understanding you don't want to think about it, and it may be tricky place where we can think about it, we can work in it, and we can control it so that we can win the game of money and be financially successful. Because money does not have to be stressful. And we want to show people that.
I agree. Money does not have to be stressful. And I think the thought behind not wanting to think about it is because it stresses you. And so figuring out a way to have you think about money but not be stressed. I think it also includes a bit of wanting to have things that you may not be able to afford. And so if I don't want to think about it because I want to be able to go buy this because I want it. And I think sometimes when we talk about money avoidance and how it all ties together, you want to be able to have what you want. Like, and I don't want to have to think about the money. I want this, and I should be able to get that. Like, I deserve it. Like, I don't want to have to think about it. So being able to talk about and have the conversation about how does that all tie together, I think is important.
I agree. I think media is a big proponent of that. I always think about, there's this Nicki Minaj line at the end of a Drake song where she's like, we don't even buy things unless it's got a comma on the price tag. But then again, who looks at the price tag? And that was a really cool line at the time. I remember thinking like, oh, that's a good one. And I feel like that's the desire that people have, right? I want to go shopping without looking at the price because it won't matter because I got it. And although that sounds really cool, people who accumulate wealth don't do that. People who make good financial decisions don't do that. Or at least they don't do it at places that have commas on the price tag, right? If you really want to do that, go to the thrift store and don't look at the price tag and just ball out, right? Go to the dollar store and make it rain.
I can guarantee you, and I can't guarantee it. This is
guarantee it, Fred. Step in.
Black law. But while she's out there doing that, there's somebody behind her saying, you can only do that one more time. Or all right, that was your limit. Like, you gotta go. Like, you ain't look at that price. Let's book a show, right? And so, and also it does sound good. And also I think that ties into mindset where if you hear it enough and you say it enough, like, you'll believe it. Like, you have to be mindful of what you're hearing and what you're saying and what you're thinking. Because if you tell yourself enough, I don't want to have to think about money, like, you'll believe you'll believe it. Like, man, I shouldn't have to think about money.
I shouldn't have to. And I think all of our music, a lot of our music is written by 20 somethings. And those same people who was writing stuff like that in their 30s and 40s, they talk about money a lot differently. They talk about things a lot differently because that was a phase in life that sounded cool. But now, I mean, how many designer purses can you buy that make you feel good, right? And it takes a time for you to buy something that's expensive, wake up 6 months down the road and not really care too much about it to say, okay, next time I'm just gonna go with functionality over the display item. So I agree. That's a good one, man.
You can go ahead and wrap.
Yeah. If you like this video, please like it below or subscribe to our channel. If you know somebody who this conversation would be interesting to it, go ahead and share this and send it over to them. And if you want to hear more or hear our insights and thoughts, please visit us at www.alchemistwealth.com. And we'll see you next time. Peace.